Did you know that you could also get coverage from septic tank leakage? I know that's gross, but we're going to talk about that and other things about your BOWTAP today. What's up? You're watching Tito Talks non-life insurance discussions with me, your favorite Tito Miguel, who loves to make non-life insurance topics easier to understand for both agents and clients. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Hope you're enjoying the week as it started just today. Hope you no longer have a hangover from the long weekend, and I hope you already have your Facebook avatars. Deadline was midnight last night. I have mine already. Not too proud, but I have to go with the trend. But anyways, if you like this type of content, please feel free to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel for more non-life insurance content. And as promised in the intro, yes, I know it's a little bit gross, but we are going to talk about the coverages provided by BOWTAP. Do you also like my lighting systems right now? I know it doesn't look like a big difference from my previous videos, but I got an extra lighting system thanks to a very, very generous sponsor. Thank you so much for the additional lighting, Boss JV. I hope you're watching this video and I hope this gets to you. Maraming salamat po sa suporta. And if you guys like to send me stuff, please don't hesitate. We love hearing from you guys, and we love receiving help and tips from you as well. As you've noticed, I am a growing channel, and I need all the help that I can get so that we can distribute this knowledge to as many agents and as many clients as possible, as that is our commitment. Now, you may have seen BOWTAP in most insurance company websites, and it's one of the last things they enumerate under their property coverages, which is mainly because it's mostly ignored, probably because it's not completely understood. And a very important thing that agents have to master is, of course, explaining each and every benefit to their customers, including this one. Yes, although BOWTAP may be one of the last things you mention, it's one of the more important and more interesting benefits when it comes to your property. For starters, let's talk about what that acronym stands for, shall we? Now, BOWTAP stands for bursting or overflowing of water taps and apparatuses. That's a mouthful. Can you say that fast? Bursting and overflowing of water taps and apparatuses, which sounds like a pretty direct and pretty straightforward acronym if you ask me. No need to define, no need to get into too much detail, right? But as you may have guessed, when it comes to insurance, everything has to be read in the fine print. And the same thing goes for BOWTAP. Actually, although BOWTAP may stand for water damage coming from water taps and apparatuses, it covers a lot, but not everything, as you'll find out later on during this video. Also, don't forget to watch the full length of the video. I've got a very interesting word of the day planned out for you, which has a little bit of something to do with our topic today, which is BOWTAP. Now that we know what BOWTAP stands for, let's talk about some of the more important things that it actually targets. Now, one of the more main coverages of your BOWTAP benefit is accidental or loss or damage from the accidental bursting, leaking, or overflow of certain apparatus that carries water into your house. Most of them, not all. And here's where things get interesting. Well, Miguel, what are the kinds of systems that carry water into my house? Excellent question, Miguel. Well, you've got a fine list here. Let me go over some of them with you guys. You've got your plumbing systems, you've got your heating systems, underground tanks, underground cylinders, even water tanks that are above ground that you see in most high-end houses. Also, you've got your standpipes for emergency fire situations, and even, not excluding, your air conditioning unit. Really? That's a lot. Indeed, that's a lot. And as mentioned earlier in the intro, it also covers your septic tanks. Ew. I know, it's a little bit gross, but that's something to keep in mind. Now, what do we mean when we say accidental leakage or discharge. Now, when we talk about these piping systems or these water systems, we know that they operate on tubes that deliver water to certain portions of your household, like your kitchen, like the bathroom, like your shower, and any other place wherein you have a faucet that actually contributes to your household's water consumption. These piping systems, if they incur damage or a sudden increase in water pressure or a sudden overflow of water or the lack thereof, could cause particular damages to these piping systems that could lead to leakage. Pag may tagas, may tulo. That doesn't sound so bad, Miguel. It really doesn't. It really doesn't sound bad at first. But what if you left a leaky pipe inside your roof or inside your wall for 30 days? What do you think is going to happen to the concrete that's going to get wet on a regular basis by your leaky pipes? It's going to affect the integrity of your concrete walls. What if your leaky pipe seeps into the floor of your house, affecting the integrity of your foundation? What if you have two floors in your house? Water could seep down from the second floor to the first floor, especially if you have second floor bathrooms, if you're that kind of fancy. But nonetheless, when these leakages happen, they could cause water damage to specific areas of your house. But it's not just with leakages. Like the term says, it's also for bursting. So pag biglang sumabog, causing water to spurt with high pressure, breaking things at the moment of impact. So it could end up breaking your windows and whatnot, which is also another type of damage that BOWTAP can cover. But that's not all it can do. Besides the internal workings of your household, the internal water systems of your households, BOWTAP can also cover your house from water damages caused by the main street line that delivers water to the whole street. Yes, if those things act up, if those things overflow, burst, or have discharges that actually damage your property, BOWTAP is also liable for these damages. And it's not just the main pipeline, it's also, if you have them, fire hydrants. You know those things that the dogs pee on? That one. Pag nagloko yan, and it does happen, these things hold water at very high temperatures to aid firefighters in getting pressurized water through their hoses to extinguish fires. Pag tumagas yan, it's not just water damage, it could be debris from the broken hydrant itself, flying in a certain direction, sometimes in the direction of your residence. Which makes BOWTAP a really, really interesting coverage, especially if you have a lot of fire hydrants, if your house is situated along the corner, or if there are a lot of fire hydrants in the area. Last but not the least, you're not just dealing with the water piping systems with your house, you're also dealing with refrigerants. Is that another term for refrigerator? No, no, no. Let me explain. When we say refrigerants, these are the fluids or gases found in cooling systems such as air conditioning units and your refrigerators. Have you ever noticed that these things have tubes that carry liquids, although they are designed to make the atmosphere colder in your room or to keep your food nice and frozen or to keep your meals cold before you need to eat them next? Well, these systems operate on something known as refrigerants. Refrigerants, very interestingly, are very integral to these appliances in accomplishing what they do. We're going to have a more in-depth discussion about these refrigerants because that is actually our word for the day. But before we get to our word for the day, I want to talk about these refrigerant leakages because that's what BOWTAP is all about. These leakages from your air conditioning system, and you've probably seen them before, tumutulo po yung aircon sa gilid, and and the water droplets sometimes drop outside the house where the butt of your aircon is facing, or it drops from the grills that blow in cool air into your room. This is not water per se. It's not just water per se. So don't drink it. Don't wipe your face with it. But these refrigerants are very interesting chemicals that have very, very special properties that make them very suitable for air conditioning units and refrigeration systems. At kapag tumulo ang mga chemical na ito, They could cause different types of damage other than water type damages to your property. And the worst part is, these leakages are sometimes minuscule and you don't really notice them not until the damage is already extensive. So which is why BOWTAP is a really interesting coverage to get if you have several air conditioning units at home, or if you have a really big and powerful refrigerator, so to speak. I've got a question, Miguel. Since BOWTAP covers my water piping systems, what if I have a sprinkler system at home at nagloko? Covered din ba yon? Interesting question, and the answer to that is no. And that's one of the more interesting things about BOWTAP. Sprinkler systems are separated from your BOWTAP coverage, which means your sprinkler system will have a different type of benefit which you still have to buy on top of your BOWTAP. But don't worry, BOWTAP is another type of optional benefit. You can do without it and you can do with it. But for safety purposes, and of course, since you're talking to an insurance agent and an insurance trainer, I would advise that you do get BOWTAP as well, especially if you have multiple refrigerating systems, air conditioning systems, a lot of bathrooms, a lot of sinks. Really useful. And as promised, we're going to get into our word for the day. And I think I mentioned this already. I gave away a spoiler a while ago. We're going to talk about the word refrigerant. Now, as mentioned earlier, refrigerants are a very unique liquid. This is because they're very unique substances that can either be found in liquid form or gaseous form. And this property of theirs is really important to air conditioning units and refrigerators. Why? Because these liquids, these substances, can change from liquid to gas and from gas back to liquid under very low temperatures, which make them very ideal to remove heat from a certain area and to have it transferred elsewhere, which is technically what refrigerators and air conditioners do. They remove the heat in your room and then they displace it somewhere else, replacing it with an atmosphere that has a lower temperature. Now, over the years, multiple refrigerants the types of refrigerants different air conditioning units and refrigerators we're using have changed over the years in order to become more eco-friendly. But that discussion is for another time. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And this marks a short break from our property discussions. Yep, Tito's not going to be uploading any more property videos from now. But don't worry, we're going to be tackling a whole new topic next upload. And yes, that one singular guy that asked me to do a follow-up specific topic, we're listening to him. So be prepared, guys, because next video after this one, we're going to talk about bonds. And it's a very important, very interesting, mostly confused, mostly misinterpreted, and really confusing topic. Once again, this has been your favorite Tito Miguel, who always says, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.